Hello and welcome back to another video on TGM Guitars. Just want to say thank you to everyone who's shown support recently, whether that's through subscribing to the channel, leaving a comment, or even just viewing the video. It's good to kind of see the views go up as well as the subscriber count. Currently on around 330 subscribers and counting, so kind of cool to get towards 500. And yeah, I appreciate all the support you guys are giving me. Without further ado, let's jump into the topic of this video. So I know I've let videos slip a little bit on this channel, and yeah, it's just been because I've had a few issues with my laptop and uploading videos and recording stuff. So hopefully that's all sorted now, so I can get back to a more regular upload schedule. And today I'm doing just that. So quite a while ago I did a video on my gigging setup for 2022, comprising my Vox pedal board and a couple of guitars for you. And what I'm going to be doing in this video is the follow-up part 2 of that video, which I said I was going to do, and it's kind of my B rig. And although I'm calling it my B rig, it's just another rig that I can swap in and out if I want to, and that comprises mainly of my Marshall DSL 100 HR. Also going to play some different guitars today. I'm kind of swapping those in and out as I go through gigs, deciding which ones I want to play as and when, which is kind of nice, kind of a privileged position to be in. But the whole reason I've got this rig set up is just in case I wanted something different. If the Vox kind of breaks down, or if the Vox isn't kind of cutting it and I want something that a little bit different, I want to switch things up, then I've got that option there to just plug my Marshall in. So I'm going to take you through some sounds. I'm not going to go through the full pedal board like I did in the previous video. If you want to see about that, then go watch the previous video and see what pedals I've got on there. I'll explain a little bit why I've got them. This is mainly just about sounds and just show you guys what it kind of sounds like, and just play through some different guitars. So without further ado, let's jump over onto the guitar and give you some sounds. Okay, so here we are, just a quick rundown of the actual signal chain. So I've got my Gibson Les Paul Tribute 50s going into my pedal board, got the old pedal cam going on over here again, and from there we're going through all the pedals into the DSL 100 HR, which is then plugged into my Captor X and into Cakewalk for you guys. So I'm going to do just a little bit of signal processing, not too much, just try and give you the kind of raw sounds of this. So, as you may notice, down here on my switcher, I'm using bank 4. So with the Vox, I've got that all set up to use banks 1 to 3, and then 4 to 6 are my Marshall kind of banks. So we're starting off here on bank 4A, and that's basically my main sound. So I'll use this for rhythm, and it's my distorted sound, so what would have been the clon through the Vox, and that sounds a little bit like this. So kind of your classic kind of Marshall gain sound. What I'm going to do is actually turn the noise gate off, because I just realised I had that on. It doesn't sound quite as sterile then, because the problem is you have the noise gate on and you don't get as much sustain. But that is my main sound, so I'll use that for all of my rhythm stuff, and then kick it onto the solo, ready for solo. But I'll show you that one in a minute. Next up we have main 2. So this puts it onto the red crunch out. I should have said that previous channel was the green ultra gain setting on the Marshall, and this has put it onto the red classic gain of the Marshall. So with this one, this is basically the classic gain. So still got a bit of hair there, not completely clean, although I can try that in my volume most of the time, to be honest. Right, sorry about that, I had to change the ISO settings. I noticed the guitar wasn't coming across brilliantly. Hope it's a little bit better. I'm still getting used to this whole lighting setup, and where it's daylight I still have got a bit of bleed from the from the outside coming in. But as I was saying, this isn't completely clean. I do that on my volume, so that's how I get my clean sounds live. So when I say clean, this is my clean channel, so don't get too mad at me in the comments. It's just how I use it. So in this one I've got the MD500 patched in, so this allows me to put effects on and have the modulation, the chorus, for things like Paradise City for example. But what we're going to do here is just put this setting on, which is what I use for Pink's Just Like a Pill. So what we've got going on there is a little bit of rotary and a little bit of overtone. Gives that sort of church organ-y feel to the whole thing. So I believe the original song was just a rotary, but that allows me to patch that in, and also with those off it gives me a crunchy channel for a little less gain. So, moving on to this outro one, which isn't for outros, actually just puts the tube screamer into that red classic gain channel. So it gives you a bit more of a, classic gain, I guess. But it's just a tube screamer pushing the front end of the amp. Kind of a bit of a more old school sound. So. So it's kind of for stuff that my A setting, bit too much gain, it's a little less. Just something, just down a notch. So it allows me to just have a bit of flavour and choice there for different songs. And then going on to the solo, I will click my echo on because I had that turned off. And it's the same as it does in the Vox. We've got the tube screamer pushing the front end, and I say the same it does in the Vox. As I said before, so this has gone over onto the green of the Ultra Gain, which if you want to look at it in Vox terms, that is my clon into the Vox. So in front of that we've got the tube screamer and a bit of delay, and then also the patch in for the MD500 for when I do like the solo on Paradise City, or let's go to a different one for this. Let's go for what I use my solo, Peace of My Heart. It's a rotary kind of vibe sound, and sounds a bit like this. So that's my main solo sound. Obviously I'm going to turn that vibe on and off as I want. And yeah, it also chucks the Marshall into the Master Volume 2, which I usually have set louder for gigs. At the moment it's set Unity because I don't want to blow your eardrums out. Sorry, just checking, make sure my actual microphone is on. That'd be good, wouldn't it? I did that before actually. I recorded the whole video and the mic wasn't plugged in. But that is the first bank of sounds, and then we'll move up on to bank 2. So the heart of this is the Dark Mouse, which again I still haven't changed the label down on the actual pedal board. It still says Hotcake, and it gives me that, for want of a better word, rattier kind of sound. So it's good for the pop punk, the old grunge stuff. So power chords galore, and this is going into the green classic gain channel, so the clean channel. So for example, if I don't have the Dark Mouse on, and with the Dark Mouse on, and looking at it, let's change that filter a little bit. Now, I do have to say in caveat, because I don't think that sounds necessarily brilliant right there, but I had this set up for the Vox, and I've got a gig coming up, so I'm trying not to deviate from the Vox sounds. But let's click that onto the Hyper, seeing as that's just a switch. Help if I was in tune, wouldn't it? I mean, old strings on this. Again, I've got a gig on, it's currently Thursday, I've got a gig on Sunday, so this will be re-strung before then, and yeah, so I don't want to touch these settings. The guitar's a little bit wafty on the strings, but gets the job done, gets the point across, doesn't it? So yeah. It's kind of that different texture and different sound. So again, on main 2, this is exactly the same as the other one. It's the red classic gain, and the MD500's in there. So let's find a different patch on the MD500 to show that. Let's go with the You Ought to Know patch. So if you want to know what those settings are on there, I've got chorus and slice, which is kind of like a rhythmic tremolo. You can set it to different patterns and that. So that is main 2 of that bank. Into the outro, so that puts the Dark Mouse in with the MD500. So we're back on the classic gain green channel on the Marshall. So this allows me to patch in the MD500. So I put it on the decoder setting, and basically it just allows me to have that modulation along with that distortion. So that sounds a little bit like this. So just gives me another flavour again. I keep saying that a lot, don't I? And then we got the solo, which is the hotcake, Dark Mouse, sorry, not the hotcake, into the yellow full delay, and it clicks it onto the Master 2 channel. So not too dissimilar from the previous one, except it hasn't got the tube screamer in there. I found it sort of clashed a little bit. So, I mean, as I said, I use that pedal mainly for the grungy songs, this kind of setting, and they don't tend to have too strenuous solos, and when it is, it's usually octave stuff or simple note melodies, unless you're playing Pearl Jam, which we don't. So that is a solo set on that one, and what I'm going to do now is change over to a guitar which you actually haven't seen yet. So I will grab that and we'll go into the last patch. So, final patch, and yeah, so this is my new guitar. It's a Made in Mexico Player Series Fender Telecaster. I did swap out the white pickguard for a black one. I think it looks kind of cool. And yeah, you'll be seeing this a lot more on the channel. We'll be getting its own video at some point. And yeah, I'm not going to say too much about it. I do like it, and I mean, I had my cheap telly, but this is something different. And I've realised it's so shiny, it's reflecting my light up here, which might have to see if I can reposition that a little bit for any videos I do with this guitar. But with that said, we're now on the final patch for this. So this is the big Muff Patch, and requires the silencer to be on down there. And this is going into the green classic gain channel, because that's where this sounds best. So I'll just shut up and I'll just play for you. is the first time I played this through the Muff. And that sounds pretty damn good. So I get a little bit excited there. And yeah, I think that sounds pretty good. Needs to be a little bit brighter on that tone. Yeah, so that's the main one. So again, the main one's mainly for the core sounds. And then here we have the clon actually in here. So this is again on the classic gain green channel. And it's another choice there if I wanted it. Don't necessarily use it, not planning to use it, but that sounds a bit like this. So yeah, it's quite a nice warm kind of sound to that. Obviously it's not as high gain as when I use it on the Vox. It's not because I've messed with the settings, that's because it's going into the totally clean channel of the Marshall. If I put it into the red channel, it'll kind of have that Vox sound back to it. And I'm sorry, I keep adjusting my hair, but it keeps falling in my face. It's problems with having long hair again, isn't it? And yeah, moving on to the outro setting, which is literally nothing. I don't use it, I won't use it on this patch, so. But I never will. So let's jump onto the solo. So it's the big Muff again, without tube screamer. It's got the delay in there, so it's good for that solo-y widdly stuff. Not that I'm good at that solo-y widdly stuff. So yeah, that sounds like this. So yeah, this actually sounds pretty good with that big Muff, I'm going to say that. But yeah, the delay is very subtle in there, I've noticed. I think I might have knocked the echo down a bit too much. So here's with the delay up a bit. I mean, I only really have it on a slap back anyway, so it is very subtle, but it is in there, I promise. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That is the sounds that I use on the Marshall. And just, as I said, gives me another kind of choice. Should I go to I would say, should I go to a gig where there's a bigger space for us to play, I'd use it because it's louder, but honestly, after playing that Vox for a few gigs, I think it's just as loud, to be honest. But yeah, that's how the B rig sounds. So yeah, so there we have it, my alternate rig, my B rig, whatever you want to call it, just something that I can use if I want something different to the Vox. That being said, I've done so many gigs with the Vox now, I'm probably going to use that most of the time, quite simply because I like the sound of it. It's got a good character to it, it goes through the mix quite well and works well with the rhythm guitarist. He's got a Marshall JCM 800, the little studio one, so kind of Vox and Marshall. If you had two Marshalls, it would sound huge, but I'm just worried that then you wouldn't be able to distinguish as much between them. And before I forget, I do have to mention that this might not actually be a rig that I do end up taking out to a gig for one simple reason. That's because I had a bit of a scare the other day with the Marshall. I tried to record this video and it was cutting out. So when I was playing, for some reason it was just like almost pulsating, cutting in and out. And I had a look at it, opened it up, one by one put all the power tubes into my Bulgaria because it's got the Infinium technology. It can tell me if one's bad. Don't know how reliable it is, but gave it a go. All seemed good, so just put them all back in, reseated them, did the same with all the preamp tubes, and it's been working fine. So fingers crossed it's a bit of dust and a bit of dirt, but I don't know if I trust it for a gig at the moment. It's kind of, I'll have to play with it a little bit more and kind of build my confidence back up in it. So until then, it's going to be Vox all the way. Or if I do take it out, the Bulgaria will be taken as a backup. So just want to throw that out there. And yeah, it's just the way these things are. It might be a tube going. It might just be dirty contacts. It does sit there a lot. Gathered a lot of dust in the back, I noticed. So maybe I just need to keep on top of cleaning these things. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the sounds down in the comments. Don't be too nasty. Just don't leave nasty comments anywhere on the internet, really. Constructive criticism is always welcome. And I'll be seeing you guys in the next one, which will either be a video on using your volume control to, well, basically volume control, and use it as a way to get different tones. I just realised the little backlight that I have in the background there has gone off. So don't know if that happened somewhere in the video. It might be why I had to change the ISO settings. But yeah, so keep getting sidetracked, don't I? It's either going to be a video on how to use your volume control to control your gain or tone and just mix and match things, and how I use it personally. I've noticed during these gigs I've been using it quite a lot. I did have to clean the volume control for the bridge pickup on my Gibson for that reason. It got just full of gunk from gigging. It's not pleasant, but you do sweat when you gig. And yeah, it'll be either a video on that or a video on the Telecaster. So quite impressed with how that sounded today, especially with a big muff. I'm going to be taking it along to my gig on Sunday, so I'll do a review after then. There's a few things I do want to say about it, positives, negatives, so I reckon that'll be quite a good video, quite a good review for you guys. And yeah, I'll stop waffling on, and I'll see you on but yeah, I'll stop waffling on now, and as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.